Okay, guys, so welcome to the Mamas, Babies and Essential Oils webinar. So in this webinar, we're going to be looking at how to look after our tribe in a natural way. So we're going to go through a little bit about how to use essential oils. And we are also going to talk about some of the top oils to use with babies and also children, with a bit of a focus on young children. But you can use them, on children from babies upwards. So I'll be giving you some information about all of that. If you've got any questions at all, then you can get in touch with me at the end, or also post in the chat box, and we can monitor those questions at the end. And if you are joining us on the replay, then welcome. And if you've got any questions, you can follow up with me via one of the ways that I'll show you at the end of the webinar. Okay, so this is a topic that I absolutely love because I was actually introduced to essential oils when I was pregnant with my second baby. Now, I say introduced to essential oils, I've used them all my life, but I was introduced to specifically doTERRA essential oils, which I use now, which are really pure and potent, and I'll talk a little bit about that and just how to choose your grades of oils as well in this webinar. So let's get started. Just a little bit about who I am. So I'm a health and wellness advocate. I specifically really focus on self-care for spiritual mamas. And I'm also a holistic business coach as well. So I work with mainly women who are looking to support their lifestyle with holistic healthcare. Okay, and I'm also the founder of Mama Space, which is a self-care program for mums. I have a Facebook group called the Mama Tribe, which any of you who are mums are very, very welcome to join. And that is a space where we have self-care tips on a daily basis throughout the week, and it's a really supportive tribe of mamas who come together and help each other in their self-care journey. And I also have developed the Rock Your Light program, which is my business program to support particularly mums who are looking for part-time opportunities to build an income around their kind of work and life balance. So I'm also mum to two little boys. I've got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. So as I say, I used essential oils particularly in my pregnancy with my second baby, and then I've been using them ever since on the boys, and it's really changed our lives and made our home environment a much happier place as well. So that's a little bit about who I am. Just a little bit about what I believe in. So I really do, as I'm going through this, what I want to sort of put forward is that I do believe that there's a time and place for modern medicine. And of course, if there's anything particularly wrong with your kids, go and get checked out with a doctor. And I'm really grateful that we have modern medicine in our life. However, I do believe that we should also have information about all the choices that are out there to support our health and well-being. And I think that, what were once termed as kind of alternative therapies, so things like aromatherapy, herbal remedies, massage, reflexology, acupuncture, that sort of thing, absolutely have a place in looking at our complementary well-being. And I think that can work hand in hand with modern medicine. So I do think that natural solutions, especially essential oils, can be really powerful in supporting our physical, emotional, mental and spiritual well-being. It really, truly, there's a whole holistic spectrum that essential oils are able to support you on. And it's just, as I continue on this journey, I just find more and more uses for my oils and to support me in my entire life and lifestyle. I also think we've got the power to make informed choices and take healthcare into our own hands. So with natural tools, we can actually turn to these natural tools for kind of day-to-day ailments that we might be facing, and just to make sure that we are living our healthiest life style that we can. And I do believe that our body is designed to heal itself if it's given the right tools. So it's about proper nutrition, it's about exercise, it's about reducing toxicity in our lifestyles and our homes. So it's looking even at our cleaning products, that sort of thing, and just giving our bodies the absolute best environment that we can to ensure that we can thrive. And it's so important for our children as well, for this, because their systems are so much smaller, they're developing. So if we can really make sure that the environment particularly is non-toxic, then that is a massive step in the right direction for supporting not only their physical well-being, but also mental well-being as well for children. And I do believe that feeling vibrant and abundant is absolutely within our reach. And I believe that's a mindset thing. And I think that essential oils can also help with that emotional mindset area of life as well. Now, I have done a couple of webinars the past couple of weeks. We've been doing a series throughout February. So the first week was on an introduction to essential oils, and the second was about self-care and essential oils. So I've talked quite a lot about the kind of key oils that I would use around the home, and then I've also talked about how to support kind of emotional, physical, mental well-being with essential oils. And you will be receiving those links as well to the replays of those. But if you've got any questions, you can just get in contact with me about any of that. But as I say, today we are going to be focusing on using our essential oils with babies and our kids. Okay. So, first things first, bit of a disclaimer. I am absolutely not a doctor. I'm a holistic health and wellness advocate, and I empower people to take control of their own well-being. So I educate, I share information, and I work with people to explore essential oils as a natural choice. I do encourage you to do your own research, and as I said earlier, if there's anything specific that you are looking at, it's always good to check in with your doctor as well and make sure that anything that you might be exploring on the natural spectrum will sit with any treatment that you're undergoing with your doctor as well. First and foremost, I am a mum who uses natural solutions as a first port of call to support mine, my family's health and well-being. So everything that I'm going to be talking about tonight are things that I have tried with my children, and I'll be giving you some hints and tips and recipes and things later as well. And I am, as I said earlier, I'm truly, truly grateful for the knowledge and services of the medical profession. And I do believe that natural solutions and modern medicine can go hand in hand, and they are complementary. And one of the things that I love about working with doTERRA as a company of essential oils is not just their high standard of essential oils, but they're also incredibly committed to working with the medical community to look at complementary approaches of using essential oils. So we've been doing studies with hospitals and medical practitioners to see how essential oils can actually support patients and also medical professionals themselves as well, because that's the beauty of essential oils. That tends to be positive side benefits, particularly if you're doing things like diffusing them, which I'll talk a little bit about in a minute. Okay, so I've talked quite a lot about this, particularly in my first presentation on an introduction to essential oils, but just so that we're covering the basics, particularly if you're new to these webinars. First things first, what are essential oils? So essential oils are volatile aromatic compounds, and they're extracted and distilled from plants, shrubs, flowers, trees, even roots, bushes and seeds. So all different parts of the plant can produce essential oils. And what essential oils do is they actually protect the plant from invaders, and they help the plant to heal from any wound. So if you imagine, for example, picking an orange off the tree, and you've got that beautiful orange and with its orange peel, what that peel actually does is it protects the fruit inside from any kind of pesticides or anything that's going to come in, or pests and insects attack, that might be happening on the fruit. So the peel is really there to help. And if anything does actually attack the plant, then, you might see sometimes a sort of almost scar tissue on oranges. The essential oils will help to repair the skin to ensure that the fruit remains intact. So this is what essential oils do. They are healers within the plant world. So if you imagine taking those compounds and then extracting them and using them for our bodies and our benefits, you can understand that they're a very, very natural way of supporting our bodies from any kind of attack, any kind of cellular damage, that kind of thing. So they're very healing, they're very nurturing, and they're also very supportive on an emotional level as well. They are chemically very complex, and what you'll find with different essential oils is that they have a different kind of range on a chemical spectrum, and this is what leads to their therapeutic benefits. Okay, they're extremely potent and powerful. So as you'll see just on the right hand side of the screen here, 1 drop of peppermint oil is actually the equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So that is incredibly, incredibly potent. So a drop of peppermint oil will have an amazing effect on your digestive system. And they do affect us on a cellular level. So the beauty of essential oils is that they actually can cross the cell barrier. So where we all know that antibiotics, for example, do not work on viruses, and rightly so, there's been a massive campaign which has actually led to the decrease in prescriptions of antibiotics. That because the antibiotics physically do not work on a virus. So if you imagine a cell, this is my cell, and there is a virus inside that cell, okay? Now, if you use an antibiotic, it will come in and it can't get through the cell wall to that virus that's inside, okay? So what actually happens is it just floats around and it doesn't really do anything, and you can also get bad side effects from antibiotics as well. Essential oils, however, are actually able to come through this barrier, and they can then work on the health of the cell inside as well. So something like, for example, oregano oil it's antiviral. It's known as nature's antibiotic, and it actually works on viruses as well as other types of bacteria. So where antibiotics wouldn't work on the flu virus, for example, you can actually use oregano oil for flu viruses. And it can be very, very effective. Okay, so why essential oils? Now, I love this card because it's, here's a list of things that I don't use essential oils for. Literally, you can use them. There's such a vast spectrum of things that you can use essential oils for. So they've been used for centuries. Essential oils are not something new. It's quite funny when they're referred to as kind of new age or hippie alternative therapies. But actually, this is the medicine that has been around for thousands of years. They're 100% natural. So depending on what essential oils you're actually choosing, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, about grades of essential oils. But what you're looking for is an oil that is 100% natural. There is nothing in it, and it has truly positive side benefits. Okay, so this is the beauty of essential oils. Each oil actually has, you'll find that it has a number of different components because they're very chemically complex. So you may, for example, start to use lavender for anxiety. But whilst you're using lavender for anxiety, you find that you sleep better. And you also find that any perhaps skin conditions that you have had begin to heal quicker. And that's due to the different properties of the oil to support different areas. So each oil you'll find has many benefits. And you'll also find that, say for example, if you are looking for something to support anxiety, but you hate lavender, and of course lavender is always the go-to oil for anxiety, you'll actually find that there are maybe 5, 6 or more oils that can support anxiety. So something like bergamot, which is a citrus oil. It's a beautiful oil. I use it all the time. It's quite uplifting, but it actually has a very calming effect on the nervous system. So if you don't like lavender, you can use something like bergamot, or doTERRA also have a blend, which I use all the time, called Balance, and that's a very grounding blend, and that actually has a lot of the tree oils in it. And the beauty of a lot of the tree oils like cedarwood or blue tansy or the firs is, if you imagine a tree standing really proud and strong and its roots are deep, deep in the ground, when you use the tree oils, it's almost like that feeling comes over you. You settle back down. So if you're somebody that's quite up in your head, and this can be really, really useful also for toddlers, I have found, those crazy moments, they're dealing with their emotions. They're just learning this wide spectrum of emotions, and their hormones are all over the place. Diffusing something like balance is a wonderful way to just calm things down and ground everybody in the home. So balance is a great one to use for tantrums and that sort of thing. So they're a gentle alternative for all your family. I will talk about how to use them specifically with children, but there are ways to use essential oils that are so gentle on every single member of your family, from literally a newborn up. I mean, I've used them on my youngest from day one, from actually when he was in the womb. So I found them massively supportive for us. They really empower you to take control of your family health and well-being. So I find that, sometimes on those days where everything is falling apart, everyone's frazzled, it's a bit frenetic, you've maybe not had enough sleep, turning to my essential oils has given me some control, and it's made me feel as a mum that I actually have things in my toolkit to be able to provide support for my kids. Okay, and they are more powerful than herbs. So as I showed earlier, 1 drop of peppermint oil is actually equivalent to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So they are much more powerful. Some essential oils are actually 50 to 70 times more powerful than the herb equivalent. So you really don't need very much at all when you're using essential oils, actually, and that makes them very economical as well, because they go a very long way. Also, they're easy to use, so just 1 drop in many applications, particularly when you're dealing with children as well. Less is more with essential oils, particularly when you're using a pure and potent brand of essential oils. Really less is more. It will go a very long way. And what I like to say with essential oils is little and often. So use a little bit, and if you find that you need some more support, then just reapply, a couple of hours later. And you can keep doing that throughout the day to give yourself support and your children support. They are affordable. Many bottles will last 5+ years. A bottle itself, I'm just going to grab one of my bottles here. So this is grapefruit. This is a beautiful one actually for using with children. It's very safe for babies as well. And 1 bottle like this is a 15ml size, and you get 250 drops in a 15ml size. Now this, because you can actually use this one internally, but only with adults, it has a supplement fact, and because of that, it has to have an expiry date. I'm just having a look for that actually. So this will say that it will last, up until X. I think it's actually on a sticker. So, but actually, if you store your essential oils properly, so this is in an amber glass bottle. You always want your essential oils to be stored in dark bottles and away from direct sunlight, and in as cool a place as possible. So don't stick them on a shelf above a radiator or anything like that. And if you store them properly, then these they'll outlive you and I, these oils, if they're unopened. So they're just incredible. And actually, they're one of the things that was taken from Tutankhamun's tomb was frankincense and myrrh essential oils, because they were so valuable that actually the grave robbers had gone in and siphoned off the essential oils from his tomb. Quite amazing. Okay, so with an honest brand, what you have in a bottle like this is 100% pure plant magic. So sourced indigenously, if you have a brand which actually sources from where the plant is originally from, that means that you get the best of the oils sourced from the area where they're thriving naturally, and as a result, what you get is the highest therapeutic benefits of that oil. Okay, so I'm going to go on to talk a little bit about that. So grading. There's 4 different types of grades of essential oils in the market, and the biggest amount of oils, the largest amount of oils, are synthetic. So what that means is that somebody has taken the grapefruit and they have gone into the lab and they have synthetically produced an oil or a scent that smells the same as grapefruit. Okay, so what you're getting from that is you're getting some of the aromatic benefits, you're getting that smell, and a lot of these are what go into the perfume and industrial kind of products. So that might be your cleaning products, lotions, shampoo and conditioner, any perfumes that you buy. Generally, it will be synthetic grade oils. Okay. The problem with that is they're not 100% pure and natural. All right. The next step up is food grade. So that's GRAS standard, which some of you may have heard of. These are generally regarded as safe for internal consumption. So that's when you've got things like orange flavouring, peppermint flavouring, lavender even flavouring you can be getting. And they are actually safe they're generally regarded as safe for ingestion, but again, they might not actually be the 100% pure oil. It might just be something that has been synthetically produced chemically to taste like and smell like the natural product. Okay. Then what you move on to, and you'll see the market getting smaller and smaller, are therapeutic grade oils. And these are the ones that actually have health benefits. So there are masses of texts out there. Tisserand is a very good text. Valeriane Warwood as well. She's a French aromatherapist and has some excellent books. And what they talk about are therapeutic grade essential oils. So when they are saying, perhaps giving blends or recipes to deal with certain ailments, they are meaning oils that have therapeutic qualities. So not your synthetics, not your food grade, but your therapeutic grade oils. So if you go, for example, to an aromatherapy, an aromatherapist for a massage, that aromatherapist will be using therapeutic grade oils. When they talk to you about how you're feeling or how you want to feel or what you want to address, they are specifically choosing oils not based on smell, but based on the therapeutic benefits that you will find from those oils. Of course, they will ask you to smell things as well, because it's a little bit of a catch-22. If you don't like the smell, you might find that the benefits are hindered slightly for you. But actually, even if you don't like a smell of an essential oil, the therapeutic benefits can still work on you. If, for example, if you apply it to the bottoms of your feet, that's a good place to put it if you don't particularly like a smell of an oil. So then we have certified pure therapeutic grade. Now, this is a term that doTERRA has coined. It's trademarked. It is their term and it's a branding exercise. But it's also got an awful lot of backup in terms of testing and third-party testing. So doTERRA as a company, the owners have been involved in essential oils for many years. And they realised that as there are no standards across the world for essential oils, there's no kind of benchmark that companies are setting themselves up for. It's very, very difficult for the consumer to identify which oils may have fillers or synthetics in them and which are actually totally pure and have been tested as such. So doTERRA decided that they wanted to hold themselves up to the highest standard of essential oils in the industry, and they created a program called Certified Pure Therapeutic Grade. And that is a program of tests, which I'll just take you into this. It's a quality control process which sets the bar for purity and potency. So we source worldwide for best quality. As I said earlier, when we're looking at essential oils, one of the best ways to ensure that you're getting the most therapeutic benefits from an essential oil is to source them indigenously. So for example, if I was to plant a lovely lavender plant in my garden in Scotland and tend to it very carefully and feed it and water it and make sure, I probably wouldn't need to water it because it's Scotland, so let's be fair, and look after that plant. And then we've got the beautiful French lavender in the Alps, or also Bulgarian lavender, which is actually very high therapeutic grade lavender. Then we're not going to get the same kind of therapeutic properties as my little plant that I've been growing in my patio in Scotland. So what we do is we source worldwide to where that plant is actually indigenously from, and that's for a few reasons. The soil, the geographical location, the climate, everything for that plant is its optimum. And also what you find is that there's also generations and generations of farmers that have been tending that plant. They know how to farm those plants. They absolutely know how to look after and nurture those plants as well. So you're not only getting the kind of geographical and climate conditions for the plants, but you're also getting that nurture and care as well. And what we found is that when testing oils from different plants from different areas, always sourcing indigenously is the best way for us to ensure that we've got the highest therapeutic quality in our oils. We also ensure that they're absolutely free of contaminants and pesticides. So we work very, very closely with our farmers to make sure that there are no contaminants and pesticides used on our plants. And we make sure that they are looked after, and that at the end of the day, what you get in your bottle is 100% pure plant essential oil. There is nothing adulterating this oil whatsoever. So if they're also subjected to rigorous testing to ensure purity and potency. So we are working very, very closely in a system called co-impact sourcing with our farmers, all throughout the process and the distillation process. But we also then, when they're bottled, we also subject them to testing, and every single batch is tested to ensure that there is nothing else in that bottle. Okay, so what you will find on some high street brands is that it does say 100% pure essential oil. That means that there is 100% pure essential oil in the bottle, but there may also be other things as well. So just take some time to look at the back of your bottle, see what's in it, and make sure that it truly is 100% pure essential oil. And also have a think about where that oil has come from and where it's been sourced from if you're looking for therapeutic grade oils. Okay. So as I said earlier, we use co-impact sourcing, and this has been a very, very critical part of the reason I've decided to align with doTERRA, because for the past 12 years, I've worked in international development. I'm very, very committed to working with communities around the world and underdeveloped countries to look for sustainable incomes, and stimulate local economies. And that is what doTERRA does. So it's not about charity, it's not about handouts. It's very much a business relationship working with farmers to sustainably produce essential oils, so that we are making sure that we're using best practices, but we're also stimulating local economies all over the world. And one of the things that we do is ensure that our farmers have a sustainable income throughout the year. So one of the reasons that this is so important for both the oils but also the farmers as well is that many farmers live quite hand to mouth. So for example, one week they may not actually be able to feed their families. So what they'll do is they'll harvest early and they will take their crop to market. But they obviously get a lesser price for their crop because they've harvested too early, it hasn't quite developed. And also, they just don't get very much money. So, and then they don't have their crop going on into the season. The reason that we also try and avoid this is that means that the crop is often not actually, hasn't reached the beneficial stages of growth for us to get the best quality of oil that we need from that crop. So we work with the farmers to make sure that they are getting a sustainable income throughout the year, but that they are keeping the crop in until when we actually need to be harvesting it, in terms of making sure that we're getting the most therapeutic grade from our oils as well. So it's a partnership. It's very much working together and respecting what the farmers are doing to ensure that we get the highest quality grade oils that we need to get. Okay. So, how to use essential oils. Now, I'm particularly going to talk in this webinar about children and kids, and in my previous ones, you'll have heard me talk about using essential oils internally. Now, with children, I would never recommend ingesting essential oils. Okay, their systems are just developing, so there's a possibility that you could do some damage there. So I would always only use essential oils with children, aromatically or topically, all right? So aromatically, these are ideal for uplifting emotions, respiratory support, and boosting the immune system. So how you can use aromatically is you can actually just deeply inhale. So for example, with grapefruit, which is a very gentle oil, I actually used to use grapefruit when I was nursing Angus. I used, after a couple of months, when he was born, I actually did this with lavender to start with, and I would rub it, mix it with some fractionated coconut oil, which is it's like a runny coconut oil. I don't know if you can see that, and doTERRA produce this, and the reason that coconut oil is so great, it's got really good antioxidant and antibacterial properties as well. But I would dilute a little bit of lavender with some coconut oil, and I would rub it all over my neck and my chest and my shoulders. And what that did for me as a new mum was it just calmed me down a little bit. It helped with my anxiety levels. But I would carry or be holding Angus quite a lot around this area as well. And it really helped to just soothe and calm him as well. And then a couple of months into having Angus, that was when the sleep deprivation really, really began to kick in. So what I started using was grapefruit, because this is a much more uplifting oil. It's an antidepressant. And I would rub that, mixed with a bit of coconut oil, and just rub it all over here. And it's very, again, gentle for babies. So by him just being up close to me was inhaling that beautifully sort of supportive and energizing and uplifting oil. So that's one of the ways that you can use it with babies, is actually from yourself if you're carrying them around a lot. But one of the ways to do it is you just add a drop to your palms. You rub them together. Now, when we're doing this, I always say try and keep your fingers out of the way. So just rub your palms together. And the reason for this is it's like cutting a chili pepper. You always end up sticking your finger in your eye afterwards. Now, if that does ever happen and you get essential oils in your eye, you would just dilute it out with a carrier oil. So coconut oil, olive oil, even some vegetable oil from your cupboard, almond oil, anything like that you have around the house. The reason for this is that carrier oils dilute essential oils. But if you were to use water and oil don't mix, so the water would actually drive the essential oil in further and it would aggravate it even more. But you'll find that diluting it down with the carrier oil will just take the sting away, and there won't be any problem. This has happened to me actually before with peppermint oil, and that's quite because it's got a real vapor to it, and a menthol vapor, and it kind of has a tendency to go for the eyes anyway, but if you get it in the eye it really stings. But it's amazing the very quick relief that a carrier oil will give you. So don't ever worry about it, just grab a carrier oil and dilute it down. So you add the drops at the palm of your hands. Now you'll find with a really clean, pure essential oil, your hands won't actually be greasy or slimy. It will go into your hands and soak into your body very quickly. And then you just cup them over your nose. And you take a few deep breaths in. Okay, so that's a really easy, quick way to use an oil aromatically to just support your system and give yourself a bit of emotional support. Now you can do this with the kids as well. And actually doTERRA do a range called the Touch range. So this one's really battered because I've had to extract it from my 4-year-old's bedside table. Because he has commandeered the entire thing. So what this actually has, it's 9 of our top oils that we use within the family home, but they're pre-diluted in roller balls. So you can use them. So for example, you could take a lavender one, and this is diluted down, and you could just rub it on into your child's hands, and they can rub it together, and then they can just take a really nice deep breath in. And that is a beautiful, beautiful oil. The lavender is so pure and so potent. This is the one that changed my mind about different grades of essential oils, because I never really understood it before. And then when I realised how potent the lavender was, that's what convinced me. And I use lavender all the time with my boys. They've actually got one of these each as well that they just carry around. You can also diffuse. Now, down at the bottom here, you'll see a few different kinds of diffusers. I've got one on the go just now. Let me just show you that, if you can see here. So what a diffuser does, it's not like a candle diffuser that you may have used before. It's what's called a cold mist diffuser. So it has a water chamber in here, and you just fill that up, and then you add just a few drops, 3 to 4 drops of a pure essential oil should absolutely be fine for you, okay? Particularly if you are using something that's very potent and pure, because you don't need to put tons of drops in. You might find if you've perhaps got more of a high street brand that you'll need to use more, okay, to get the scent. But what we're getting with the therapeutic grade oil is that we're getting the scent. So it's lovely because, at the moment I'm diffusing Balance and Wild Orange, which is a beautiful combination, very grounding. But the Wild Orange is also very good again with anxiety, and it's quite uplifting. And I diffuse this mix a lot around our home for the kids. It really, really helps with the kids. So what you get is totally safe. I've got one of these in each of my boys' bedrooms, in our bedroom, in each of the rooms around the home. And it disperses the water droplets mixed with the oil all in the air. So even after the diffuser stops working, you will actually have the water particles in the air for a few hours. So it's a really economical way to use your oils because you're only using a few drops of oil at a time. This one you can have running for 1 hour, 2 hours, or 4 hours. You can have the light on or off as well. So it's quite nice actually. I use it as a night light for the boys and then it just switches off. So this is a great way to use around the home. It's very, very gentle, particularly for children because it's a misting in the air. You will absorb it, you will breathe it in, and actually your skin will absorb it as well. But again, it's not in massive quantities. So this is a great way to support immune systems, also emotional systems and respiratory support. So for example, when it's kind of cold and flu time and there's lots of sniffles and bugs going around, I put a blend called On Guard, which is a protective blend. I put that in here overnight in the boys' rooms. And I also use one called Breathe, which is our respiratory blend. And that's got some wonderfully kind of, opening oils in it. And that just gently diffuses in their rooms and around our home. So that's a diffuser. And then also you can just mist oils. So you can actually add oils and water to like a glass misting bottle. I would always use glass because essential oils and plastic don't work very well together. The essential oil will actually start to break down plastic. So that can mean that it will leach toxins into the mix. So you always want to be using glass, and generally I would go for again a dark glass. So you can actually buy, there's a place called ampulla.co.uk, so that's AMPULLA.co.uk, and they do like green glass or amber glass, and you can get all different sizes of bottles. Additionally, you can actually get a misting spray that fits onto the top of, like the San Pellegrino water bottles. So that's another, you can use those bottles and repurpose them, for example, if you want to make household cleaning sprays or that kind of thing. But to add a mist, then to make a mist, you would add some oils and water to a glass misting bottle. You would make sure to shake it well because again, oils and water don't mix, so to make sure, and that's why a diffuser works really well because it has a plate inside it that vibrates and mixes it all together. So you just shake that bottle really well and you'd spritz it into the air whenever you need it and inhale the aroma. If I was making up a spritz like that, always use distilled water. That will just help keep the sort of shelf life of that spray, and you try and use it within about 2 to 3 weeks. Okay. And then the other way to use essential oils is topically. Now, this is really ideal for areas of any kind of discomfort or irritation. So if you've got any skin problems, perhaps any wounds or scars or scrapes and bruises, it's also very good for an immune boost and to give your kids comforting massage. So the power of touch, as we all know, is really important. And this can be sometimes a really nice way to incorporate that into your daily kind of routine with your children. So topically on the skin, that will soothe any aches or skin. You can apply it diluted to bottoms of feet. So again, what I would do is I would take a drop of my oil and then I would put in some fractionated coconut oil. You generally, for children, I'll talk about this in the next slide, but generally for children, you'll do about 2 tablespoons to 1 or 2 drops of oil, okay? So you would dilute your oil down and then you could rub it into the bottoms of the feet or to any area of concern. Again, you can use these things like the touch roller balls as well for that. So they're pre-diluted and you just roll them on. My children actually, they roll them on themselves. So this photo in this slide is actually my boys. They're so cute. And that is my 4-year-old rubbing it onto my 2-year-old's feet. So I feel totally safe using these roller balls with my kids, and they use them themselves. And it's really nice as well because I find it's empowered them as well because they can pick an oil and go to it and say, right, this is what I want to use, and then they apply it to the bottoms of their feet, which is one of the best ways to get essential oils into the system, because your feet have your reflexology points, so that will, by applying that to the bottoms of the feet, it's almost giving it to the whole body. But also, once you've applied oils to the bottom of your feet, within 15 minutes it will actually have come through your entire system, because that's a lot of your nerve endings are down there. You can also use oils topically in the bath. So this will work to soothe and relax. And what I would do is add a drop of oil to some full fat milk. So again, because oil and water do not mix, if you add them to the bath, they'll sit on top of the bath. You would never ever use a hot oil in the bath. And so that's things like cinnamon or cassia or oregano, okay? Because those would be hot on the skin, and you might find that there's some skin irritation. But something like lavender, for example, you just add it to a little bit of full fat milk. I would just do, a couple of tablespoons, and then mix that round and then pour it into your warm bath water, and that will disperse the oil throughout the bath, and you can use that for your kids as well. You can also, as I said, use it in massage. So this will soothe and relax, and you can add a couple of drops of essential oil to a carrier oil or a lotion. So you can get these unscented lotions. doTERRA Dew One is completely natural. Something to look for when using an unscented lotion is try and get a natural brand, because essential oils, again, like with plastic bottles, they'll actually leach the toxins, so they'll almost attract things within that lotion, and they'll make it worse. So try and go completely natural. I would always suggest a carrier oil or a totally natural lotion like the doTERRA carrier lotion, and then you would just lightly massage into the body. Okay, so essential oil safety: 1 drop of essential oil on the skin is really usually enough, particularly when you're working with children. And never put essential oils in the eyes, and if you do, dilute it with a carrier oil like fractionated coconut oil, almond oil, or even veg oil from your kitchen cupboard. Do not panic if this happens. It happens to all of us, and it's very, very easy to rectify as well. Okay. Never allow children to ingest essential oils, and there should be no real need for them to ingest essential oils. And remember that citrus oils are photosensitive. So if you are using something like grapefruit or orange or lemon, then these are photosensitive oils. So you avoid sunlight for 12 hours after applying, okay, because it can cause skin irritation. So you'll see here, over here, sorry, I'll just move this out of the way a little bit. Always dilute essential oils for safety and efficacy. What you can actually find is, to be honest, I've used pure lavender oil on my children. Lavender is incredibly, incredibly gentle. It's very, very good for any kind of sunburn, any burns, or to heal any wounds on the skin. So I've actually used lavender. My little boy, he got a burn on his hand from one of those lamps that it's like the bulb is down there, and he reached his hand in and burnt the top of his fingers, and it was a real little blister. And I applied lavender oil directly on that, and the next day it was healing, and just 2 days after that it was fine. So I have used lavender essential oil undiluted, but generally speaking, it's best to dilute your essential oils when you're with kids. So for children, you would be looking at 1 drop per 2 teaspoons of carrier oil. And for adults, you'd be looking at I said tablespoons earlier, but yeah, 1 drop per 2 teaspoons of carrier oil. And for adults, you can go up to 4 drops per teaspoon. If you're pregnant, then you would want to just use a little bit less again than the adults. So you'd be looking at 1 drop per 2 teaspoons. And for the elderly, 1 drop per 2 teaspoons as well. So as they're very concentrated, what you'll find is that this will just mean that they work, perhaps it might take a little bit longer to get the benefits, but you will still get those benefits from the oils, okay? And again, it's a more economical way to use your essential oils because you're diluting and they will go further when you're applying them to the body. So always heavily dilute, and be careful when using things like the hot oils. So I was saying earlier, cassia, cinnamon, clove, oregano, or thyme. They can feel very, very hot on your skin, and they can cause discomfort or blistering. Now, I actually had a wart on my finger And oregano works on things like warts or skin tags. And I began to use it, but what I had to do was you put a ring of carrier oil. And so I put a ring of coconut oil around the wart area, and then just with a cotton bud applied the oregano 3 times a day. And within 3 days, the wart was gone. And honestly, that was pretty mind-blowing for me. So it absolutely works, but it's definitely very, very potent. So just be careful when you're using things like that. Any other oils that can feel uncomfortable? Black pepper. Some of the citrus oils can cause some skin irritation, particularly if you're then exposed to sunlight. We don't have that problem very much in Scotland, but depending on where you are, you might find that, or if you're on holiday. Eucalyptus as well can be a strong oil. It's in some of our blends, so it's in quite in sort of small proportion, but it is quite a strong oil. Fennel, ginger, lemongrass, peppermint, and wintergreen. These are just slightly more potent oils, so I'd always dilute them down. Okay. Right, so we're going to get into some ways that you can use essential oils with your kids. So essential oils for baby, you want to be looking at really gentle oils for your baby. So that's things like lavender, melaleuca, which is tea tree, and Roman chamomile. So I've used all of these with my kids and with my newborn, and obviously not a newborn anymore, will be 2 next week, and they were just incredible. So lavender helps very much with any sort of emotional upset. Soothes skin, sleeplessness as well. It's just a really gentle way. You can pop rollerball on their bottoms of their feet before they go to bed. You can diffuse it in their room. You can even, if you're not comfortable with leaving a diffuser on in their room, you can diffuse it for an hour before they go to bed and then switch that diffuser off. And the beauty of the diffuser, again, is that those particles will be in the air for many hours to go. You can use it for aches or colic as well, lavender. For tea tree, it's a great one for immune support. So again, if there's any kind of colds and sniffles going around, you want to use your tea tree on the bottoms of their feet and just give them a little bit of immune boost. It's also very good for skin health. So if there's any, kind of bacteria or fungal infections, then melaleuca is a great one to use. And also it can be very good for cradle cap, as can lavender. So just a couple of drops in some olive oil, and then you just massage it into the area, leave it on for about an hour before bath time, and then you would rinse it well. And Roman chamomile is absolutely amazing. It's fantastic for emotional upset, very, very soothing, and it can also be very good for teething. So you would just rub it along the jawline, dilute it down, and just rub it along the jawline if your little one is teething. Okay, so again, 1 drop per 2 teaspoons. So some recipes that you can use for babies are, there's a sore bottom spray for skin irritation or a nappy rash. And what you would use in this is 4 tablespoons of carrier oil. And then you'd want to do 1 drop each of melaleuca, so that's your tea tree, lavender, and Roman chamomile. So it's a tiny amount of oils that you're going to be using. And then you'd add them to a spray bottle, shake them up whenever you want to use it, and mist onto the affected areas. So that's a really lovely, very natural, very soothing way to soothe skin irritation and nappy rash on your babies, okay? And it's not got any of the nasty chemicals that are in so many of these creams that are on the market for nappy rash. There's also soft and dry powder. Now, you absolutely want to stay away from talc. It is not good for your children. And it's really not good for their respiratory systems. So if you're perhaps going on holiday, or you're finding that your baby does get irritation in some of the kind of skin folds, so you want to be using a powder just to absorb some of that moisture, but also soothe your baby's skin, then what you want to be looking is for white kaolin clay powder, and then also arrowroot powder. Now, the reason that we use this is instead of cornstarch, which is quite often you'll find in DIY recipes, you'll find cornstarch, is that cornstarch can quite often be GMO. And we don't want to be putting that on our baby's skin either. So you would be doing 2 tablespoons of white kaolin clay, you'd be doing 2 tablespoons of arrowroot powder, and then you'd be putting 3 drops each of Roman chamomile and lavender, and you would just mix the powders together in a clean bowl first, and then you would drip the essential oils in and stir that to mix thoroughly. And you can put that into like a small shaker bottle, or an old clean, obviously, spice bottle, and just apply a little bit of that whenever you need it. Okay, so those are two really, really gentle baby care recipes to be able to use. So moving on to some other oils for your baby, you can use oils for colic. So that would be applying fennel to the belly button. You can also apply lavender to the bottoms of their feet to help with colic. Cord stump care, so this is obviously for newborns. You can apply lavender or myrrh, and that's very, very healing to the cord stump area. Digestive support, so if you have a baby that has particularly bad stomach upsets and digestive system, then we have a blend called Digest, and it's actually just being transitioned to be called Zengest. And that's a wonderful blend. So I would dilute that down, and you can just pop a little bit on the belly button. We also have that actually in the Touch. Just having a look at that. Yeah, Touch one as well. So you could just literally roll that onto the belly button area, or you could be diluting down fennel or ginger and just apply that to the belly button as well. Dry scalp, as I was saying earlier, things like Cradle Cap, you can apply lavender and olive oil or tea tree and olive oil to the scalp 1 hour before bath time, and then you rinse well. Dry skin, you would combine 2 ounces of olive oil with 2 drops of lavender, and then you just use that whenever you need it, particularly after bath time. Sore ears, so you would never ever, with the earache, you never put any essential oils into the ear canal. Okay, you don't put anything in the ear canal. What you would actually do is you would apply melaleuca, basil and lavender, just a drop of each combined and then diluted behind the ears. Okay, so that will absolutely clear up any sort of ear infection. Melaleuca particularly is very, very good for this. If you're looking to generally support the immune system, if you find that you have a child who is quite often struggling with picking up a lot of bugs, part of this is, of course, developing their immune system. So you're not going to find that these oils will stop them picking up the bugs, but what you will find is that it will support their immune system to fight it off quicker. Okay? So basil, frankincense, or tea tree, which is melaleuca, to the feet is a really, really good way to support that. Little teeth, so if you've got teething, apply lavender and Roman chamomile along the jawline. And respiratory support, you can actually apply lemon diluted to the chest or the bottoms of the feet, and that will really help with opening up the respiratory system and soothing the respiratory system. So always, always, we would dilute for all of these, okay? Right. So essential oils for toddlers and kids. Some of the favorite essential oils for kids are lavender, again, because it's so calming, it's great for restful sleep, good for any kind of discomfort or irritated skin. Lemon, so as we said earlier about respiratory support, it clears the airways for easier breathing. It also is actually really good for removing any sticky residue. So I don't know if you have kids that just like to put stickers over everything. Mine do. Gum, we don't, they're 2 and 4, so they're not currently chewing gum, but I'm sure we'll be dealing with that in the future. And crayon marks as well. I actually just wiped some crayon off the wall today with some lemon oil. So it's really good around the house in general for cleaning, but it's also great for soothing airways as well. Spearmint is a lovely one because it's actually a lot more gentle than peppermint. So peppermint you can use with your children, and again, we've got it in the Touch rollerball peppermint, but you can use spearmint for exactly the same purposes as peppermint, which would be an upset stomach, a clear breathing, an energy boost as well. So peppermint can be quite good if you need your kid to focus on something, as can spearmint. So any of the mint families can be really good at kind of like just energizing and get the focus back on. And it also cools down. So any of the mints are quite nice in a distilled water bottle spray, and if you're going on holiday, then you just shake that up and spritz, and that will cool everything down. Peppermint is also really, really good for any kind of travel sickness, as would spearmint be. So we were traveling last year, and we got into a taxi to go somewhere quite far away, and the guy said, oh, let me just hand you this massive roll of kitchen roll in case your little one is sick, because the roads are quite windy. And I was thinking, Brilliant. So I have my peppermint oil with me, and I actually just dabbed some of that onto tissues for the boys and gave them that, and it just really, really supported this kind of, their experience on this windy road when they were feeling a little bit hot and bothered and not so great. But it's very, very good to use for travel sickness. Frankincense is very calming. Frankincense is known as the king of oils. So it's hugely all-encompassing. All of the doTERRA family say, if in doubt, use frankincense. It's got incredible calming properties. It's also an anti-inflammatory, so it actually supports our system to reduce that kind of chronic inflammation that many of us suffer from. It's also very healing, so it's great for irritated skin. It will also give you an immune boost, and it will also support clear breathing. Frankincense is also, if you're into meditation or yoga or anything like that, it's a beautiful one to use either diffusing or just applying to your third eye space for just calming the body down and opening into a more meditative state. Okay, so Melaleuca, incredibly cleansing. A great one if you're using things like public pools and stuff as well is to have a little Melaleuca spray on hand or a Melaleuca roller ball, and you just roll that on the feet just to kind of protect against any kind of fungus or anything like that might be lurking around. I have 2 boys, so I am pretty sure that we're going to get some lovely things back from various sports halls, and I'm sure girls pick up the same things as well. So Melaleuca is a great one to have on you, just to kind of make sure that you get into that. And it's also a really good one for being able to just spritz inside shoes and trainers and just leave to dry off. So just a small spray, but that will just keep things kind of a little bit more hygienic. So great immune boosting. Wounds as well, it's very good. Melaleuca, tea tree was the one that I used actually as a spot-ridden teenager. So it's very antibacterial, it's very good, but it's also gentle on your skin. And it's also very good for a scratchy throat. So if you've got any sore throats going on, you can just get your roller ball of Melaleuca and you can just rub it onto the throat area, okay? Now, for me, I would actually just use the pure tea tree oil and do that. But for the kids, it's great in this rollerball format, and you just rub it into their neck. Okay. So, and you can also use Melaleuca around the home, like lemon. So you can put it into to cleaning sprays. You would use probably about 15 to 20 drops if you're going to make up a cleaning spray, and spritz it around your shower, for example. As I say, it's very antifungal, so it can be great at keeping any kind of mold in the bathroom at bay, that sort of thing. And you can clean surfaces as well with it. Okay. So what I want to talk about a little bit was rollerball recipes for toddlers and kids, because that's one of the ways that is so easy to use with children, and you can make up your own very, very easily. So again, if you go to Ampulla, I'm not affiliated by the way with Ampulla, I just buy all my stuff from there. So if you go to ampulla.co.uk, you can buy little roller bottles, and you can just make up your own recipes. And this is such a cheap way of doing it as well. It's absolutely brilliant. So what you would do is you would add your essential oils to the bottle, and then you would fill it up with fractionated coconut oil or another carrier oil of choice. The reason I like fractionated coconut oil, it's really clean on the skin. Again, it's got a lot of antioxidant properties, but it absorbs quickly, so it doesn't feel too greasy on the kids' skin, because my children get a little bit kind of, I don't like the feel of that. So fractionated coconut oil is a really good one because it's just clean and easily absorbed. So if you're wanting to create a sleepy time, if your kids are perhaps not very good with sleep, lavender and cedarwood are incredible to use with kids for sleep. So you can actually diffuse lavender and cedarwood in their rooms, but also you can apply it directly to their feet and chest. So you just do 1 drop of lavender, 1 drop of cedarwood in your roller ball, fill it up, and that will last you for a few weeks, if you're just applying it to the feet and the chest area every night. And again, they can do that, and it's quite nice and empowering, particularly for toddlers, I think, to have something that they can do. Tummy tamer, so if you've got any kind of stomach upset, you can have a drop of peppermint with a drop of ginger or a drop of lavender. Again, fill it up with fractionated coconut oil, and you just apply it to the stomach area and just rub it in gently. If you're wanting your kids to kind of study, focus, or wake up a little bit, a drop of peppermint, a drop of wild orange, and a drop of rosemary is very beneficial. So peppermint will really help focus. Wild orange will help uplift and energize. And rosemary is actually incredible for brain function and memory. So these are really good ones to use for just to kind of stimulate the senses and the brain to get into gear. So you would apply that to the chest and the back of the neck as well. So that's a really nice one for them to go to school with, actually, or for homework time. Immune Plus, you would use a drop of Melaleuca and a drop of frankincense, and you'd apply that to the feet. So that might be during those seasons where, you know, we're in transition time and you feel like there's lots of lurgies going around, perhaps at nursery or at school. It's always quite a nice idea just to boost the immune support a little bit. So that's when I would use that. Breathe Easy. You can use a drop of cypress or a drop of white fir and then add it to a drop of lemon. And you would apply that to the neck and the temples. Or if there's any kind of aching muscles and joints, so it's a bit flu-like, you could just add that directly to those joints and just rub gently in. And then the Calm Child blend, which we all need. I particularly need it. I have two quite spirited young individuals. So a drop of wild orange, which again is a beautifully uplifting oil, but it's an antidepressant oil as well. So it actually works to calm the nervous system, but will uplift mood as well. A drop of vetiver. Vetiver actually comes from a root of a plant in Haiti. And it has really wonderful calming properties. It has quite an earthy smell, but it's incredible for just calming things down. We use it in quite a lot of blends for children with ADD or ADHD to support just that calming down of the emotions. And you'd add 1 drop of lavender, which is all things calming to everybody. So that would be 1 drop, 1 drop, 1 drop, and then you would apply it, to the chest, and also the back of the knees is a great place for just calming things down. Okay, so that's some ways that you can use rollerball recipes. Some other oils for kids. If you've got anxiousness with any of your children, lavender or orange are a really good way to go. So you could diffuse them. And that's, again, a nice, gentle way of just having, inviting some calm into the household and relaxation. So perhaps if they're coming home from nursery, you would just get your diffuser set up and you start diffusing about an hour or so before they came home. Or I diffuse throughout the day, but then I would pick my oils depending on what sort of time of day or what I think's been going on, and just create that environment for them to come into. It's also a good idea to have a diffuser set up and ready to go for the morning. So all you have to do is just add your oils and then pop it on, and then when your kids come down, for example, to breakfast in the morning or something like that, you've maybe got the wild orange and the balance going on, and it sets up the tone of the day really nicely. Again, you could put them in a roller ball, and if your kid is perhaps quite anxious at school or anything like that, then they have the power themselves to just apply that and deal with any kind of anxious feelings that they might be going through. Bad dreams, lavender or juniper berry are very helpful for that. So again, you could diffuse it, or you would use it on the bottoms of your feet. Bad mood. I'm just waiting for the teenage years because I feel like the toddler years are bad. So lavender, wild orange, or bergamot. Again, these are all just really kind of calming on the nervous system, but they will just lift the spirits a bit. So one of the best ways to do that is to diffuse or mist it in the air in a spray bottle. Bedwetting, you can actually use cypress oil for, and that's very good if you apply it over the bladder area at bedtime. So that can be used to support bedwetting. Dry, scaly skin, we talked a little bit about using lavender, but you can also use juniper berry. And you would just dilute it and apply it to the dry area. Or if you've got any itchy spots, again, lavender or basil can be used as well. Basil, I would definitely just dilute down. If you've got any kind of owies, I guess we call them, so if they've bumped anything or they've got a little bit of a scratch or a scrape, lavender or tea tree are just wonderfully supportive. They're really, really excellent. Basically, just if you have a bottle of lavender to hand at all times, it covers so many bases. And then if you've got any sniffles in the house, lemon, frankincense, or cypress can be wonderfully supportive. So you'd apply that to the chest and the bottoms of the feet, again diluted as well. Okay. So I can't talk about babies and children without looking at a little bit of some support for the parents. Excuse me, just having my tea. So we've got here a hand cleaning spray. Now, when I had my kids, because you're changing nappies all the time, and then you're washing your hands, and I'm prone to eczema as well. So I was finding my hands were just ravaged. They were so dry, so sore. And then, when we were out and about, I was using those horrible hand gel sanitizer things, which just, oh my goodness, I think they burnt the skin off my hands. So what you can actually do is make yourself up a hand cleaning spray. So you can do 5 drops of Melaleuca, or 5 drops of lemon, or 5 drops of lavender. You could put a few of those things in. A 1/4 teaspoon of witch hazel, that's optional, it'll just help the kind of shelf life of it. And then you pour those ingredients into a small spray bottle, and sorry, I've done typo, but you would top it up with distilled water. So shake well before each use. And then just simply spritz it on after if you've changed anything or you just need a bit of a clean up, you would just shake it and then spritz it onto your hands. If your hands are particularly dry, you can add a teaspoon of fractionated coconut oil or some aloe vera to this as well. So just play around with it, make it up. But really, Melaleuca, lemon or lavender, they're very cleansing and sanitizing as well. A simple cleanup spray, 10 to 15 drops of lemon or Melaleuca in a spray bottle. So as I was saying earlier, you can actually use an old San Pellegrino bottle or something like that for this. And you can buy nozzles that fit on that are kind of a spray gun type thing. And you would just shake it and spray it onto surfaces such as your bathtub, any toys, anything like that. That will just freshen things up and de-germ, I guess, things. And then also the Calm Mama Mist. So 20 drops of lavender, 15 drops of wild orange, and 15 drops of peppermint. And you pour those oils into a 4-ounce spray bottle and top it up with distilled water. Now, I get my distilled water from Boots. I can't actually remember the brand of it, but if you go in and you ask them for distilled water, it's just like bottles of water, but it's been distilled. So they just make sure that the shelf life is better with your oils. So you would shake that well, and you'd spritz it around on yourself and around you, mist your area, just to kind of calm things down. So that's in those scenarios where you're just feeling like you need a little bit of grounding. Okay. So that kind of wraps us up about how to use the oils with the kids, but how to get started with your essential oils. I have something called the Wellness Tribe, which if you want to purchase oils from myself, the doTERRA essential oils, then you will have access to the Wellness Tribe, which is a global tribe of people who are using essential oils in their day-to-day lifestyle, and they have a wealth of information. So we support each other in using essential oils. There are holistic practitioners there's healthcare experts, and there's fitness experts as well. So it's a great tribe where you can find out a lot of information about using essential oils on your journey. What you would do is you would choose the perfect starter kit for you. So we have a number of different kits, and what I will be doing after this webinar, I'll be sending you the replay, and I'll also be sending you a link to have a look at some of the kits that are available. These are some of the best ways to purchase oils because you'll save money on them as well. So if you've got some ideas particularly in mind of oils that you would like to have a look at, feel free to get in touch with me, and I can talk to you about the best options and the best way to actually save you money on getting those oils as well. So all the starter kits actually include a discount purchasing membership. So this means that you'll get, for every purchase moving forward, you get 25% off any of the oils that you wanted to buy for a full year. And you shop when you want to. You don't have to buy monthly or anything like that. There's no catches. There is an option to participate in a monthly loyalty rewards program if you wanted to do that. And that way you would earn free product, very much like a kind of Boots Advantage card type thing. And you get all your shipping back as well. So the shipping is around £4.50 within the UK. And then there's also an option to build a business if you're interested in that, but there's absolutely no there's no requirement for that at all by being part of the loyalty rewards program. So we believe really in providing major value for our community, and we've got the dedicated community to help you get started. We've got online support and educational webinars as well. So by joining the Wellness Tribe, you get I'll just hop onto this one actually. What you would get is a living magazine, a doTERRA keychain with 8 vials so that you can carry them around with you. You get a usage guide. You would get a 30 minutes wellness consult with me, and you'll also become part of that global wellness tribe. But in addition to that, you get a 6-month weekly essential oil starter series. So this will really build up your knowledge about essential oils and help you go on that journey. And if you're interested in the business, then you have full support and access to an online Launch Your Business training that's part of my team, as well as my signature Rock Your Life program as well. Okay, so if you're interested in finding out some more, there's a couple of books that I would recommend. The Essential Life is a great book. It's kind of what I would say is maybe a bit of a coffee table book. It's one that you can drop in and out of. There's loads of recipes. There's loads of information about how to use different oils. There's information on single oils. There's information on blends. And there's information on different aspects of living a healthy lifestyle with essential oils as well. It's a great book, and you can find it on Amazon. Also, another one is called Emotions and Essential Oils, and this is one of the ones I absolutely love for my work with essential oils. I do a lot around emotions and mood management. So that's a great one, and again, you can get that on Amazon. The newest version actually has a yellow cover, so I would look out for just the newest version of it. There's also some apps that you might be interested in. So there's one called Modern Essentials. There's also a book version of that as well. But the app is absolutely brilliant. Again, it gives you information on single oils, on blends, and also on different ailments that you might want to look up. You can also get the doTERRA Daily Drop app, which is a free app, and every day you will get sent a video. It's only 2 minutes. They're always under 2 minutes. And that just increases your knowledge around using essential oils. And there's actually a children's stream on that program. So you can look into the ones particularly on how to use them with kids. It's Essential is another app that you can use. And Oils Premier, which is a free app, so you can have a look at those. And then there's a couple of websites that you might want to check out, which are the doTERRA.com website. Again, an absolute ton of information, and they've got some amazing recipes on there as well about how to use essential oils in your day-to-day, both in your food, but also in making products with them. And then if you would like to look at the kind of evidence base behind essential oils, Aromatic Science is a website which is collating all the evidence of research that is being done around essential oils and the benefits. So this is a really exciting website, because one of the issues I think that people have with essential oils is kind of the unknown. So this is a great place to look at if you'd like to look into a bit more evidence about why essential oils really work. Okay. So if you want to get in contact with me, there's a few different ways that you can do this. My email address is hello@lauraswan.com. Please feel free to drop me a message. I absolutely love to hear from you guys, and I'm always happy to support you on looking more into essential oils. On Facebook, if you follow me at Laura Swan Light, you'll see any information about any classes that I'm doing, any usage tips around essential oils, and also any promotions that are happening. On Pinterest as well, I'm Laura Swan Coach, and actually on there are tons of boards all around essential oils and how to use them, diffuser blends, DIY blends, all of that sort of thing. So have a look on there. There's loads of information. Also, I'm on Instagram, not that active yet, but we'll be getting more active. So Laura Swan Light, if you want to add me on that. And my website is just about to kick off in a couple of weeks, and that's www.lauraswan.com. And again, there will be a lot more information on there about how to how to use essential oils. So I would just like to say thank you so much for listening to the webinar, and it's been absolutely brilliant to hop on and talk about this, because I've loved using my essential oils, and it's an area that has been incredible for supporting my kids as well. So I've thoroughly enjoyed embracing essential oils into my life, and I'm more than happy to help anybody who wants to do the same for their family as well. So I'm just going to stop recording here, and then if there's any questions, we can continue on a little bit. Okay.